Hello and welcome to another episode of the Anime Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Lance, here with my other host, Matt. And today is a special episode because we got Alec back in the house.
Glad to be back, guys.
Awesome. Not exactly back in the house, but we got him here because we're doing this virtually. And Alec moved halfway across the country, and
I'm in another time zone. Let's go.
all in all, it's awesome. Finally glad to have you back in. So that's every episode we have a adult beverage of choice. Today we are recording super early in the morning. I already slammed one of my coffees and now I am drinking just a basic screwdriver. Nothing special there. What about you, Matt?
I'm knocking out that Dayquil, so nothing. That's all I got. That and water, because obviously I am not feeling well. So hopefully I can push through this, and yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Yep, that sucks being sick. What about you, Alec?
I hope you get better soon, Matt. But I
Thanks.
am enjoying a nice American coffee, which is a little spin-off of Irish coffee, except this one is with Driftless Glen single barrel bourbon whiskey. Love this stuff. You can only get this bottle at the distillery in Wisconsin, so highly recommend giving that place a visit because this is one of the best I've ever had.
Oh, yeah,
Nice.
man, it's been a minute since we had the Driftless.
That is true. We had one that was a little bit different because it was the port barrel finished bourbon, so it's slightly
Ooh,
different.
I tried that one. That one's really good. I love that whole company. They just have a secret. Great.
Yeah, so that's funny you brought some Wisconsin home back with you when you went back to Virginia.
Oh, for sure. You must.
Nice.
So, Lance, you want to kind of let everybody know what we're going to be covering today?
Yep, so today we are going to be covering season 2 of Tokyo Revengers. And if you're watching this episode, you clearly understand the grand scheme of things. We got our main character Takemichi going back in time and trying to save his love interest life from consistently dying, except this time he's going back in time because his current future self is the one that ended up killing her, which is crazy. That was a lot of fun. We got to talk about that.
Yep.
And we're really taking care of one big scene where we have to save Hakai Shiba from murdering his brother and becoming a bad guy. The Christmas arc is the first 13 episodes of season 2. We have yet to see if season 3 is its own thing or if it's a core 2. So at this current time in our recording, the internet just says season 3. So we'll talk about that in a minute.
But before we get into this, Lance, can you give us that lessons lesson?
Today's Lance's Lessons is going to be the Japanese word for police, and that is keisatsu. Keisatsu is spelled Keisatsu, and keisatsu is important because Naoto is working for the police, and we get to find out that Naoto's dad is also a police member, so that's why, if we remember from season 1, that's kind of the push there. So we have 2 policemen in our lives in this show.
Yeah, it makes sense. Definitely. And, they are hooligans, gangsters, whatever, delinquents as they keep getting referred to. So,
If you watch the subtitles, if you watch the English subtitles, it literally says hoodlums every time they say gangsters. I think it's great.
hoodlums. That's
Yep.
great. So obviously, being that part of your life, you're going to have to deal with police quite often, or at least avoiding them.
Yeah, it consistently blows my mind how like normalized gangster life or hoodlum life or whatever is in this show. It's just
They make it seem like every day, like, oh, this is what every middle school and high schooler goes through.
exactly. I know we talked about this about when we covered season 1, but it just still consistently blows my mind.
Well, look at the numbers. It's like a good percentage of the school is a part of a gang.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and like they talk about their numbers, like this gang is 100 kids strong. This gang is 400 kids strong. It's like that's a lot of children. Like, what are they doing? Where are their parents?
Exactly. You're in Japan. You're a small enough country, and you're in a city, and all this city just so happens to have like we're talking multi hundreds. There's multiple gangs, and each gang has hundreds of people. and they all just so happen to be around the same age. That's a
Yeah.
lot of goddamn kids.
That's 1,000 teenage gang members. Can we just like put that into perspective? This show is
Right.
wilding out. That's what I love about it. It's like just so extreme, and it really pulls you because like sure there were like bullies in high school and middle school. We all encountered those. I mean, we watched anime, so things happen, but nothing like that. This is insanity. I love it. I absolutely love it. This show is so entertaining.
Oh, definitely. Despite what some people may say about season 2, still loved all of. Well, okay. Now that I'm saying this out loud, we have to talk about the potential difference between what the internet's currently saying about season 3 and what we think might eventually happen. So, Matt, you want to share what we were sharing or talking about?
So, if you look on Hulu, it talks about season 2 being what they considered season 3 on the internet. So, episodes 14 and on are either season 2 core 2 or it's season 3 that they've combined into season 2. I don't know. It's confusing. All I can tell you is if you try and find season 3 on Hulu, which is where it's getting released, it's not there. It's under season 2.
Right.
That confused the hell out of me when I was searching for it. I'm like, what am I looking for right now? Like, I'm looking for season 3, but all I'm seeing, and I'm like, I haven't seen these episodes of season 2. What's going on?
Yep.
Right.
So I'm gonna wait till the whole thing comes out.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking with Matt. Is I'm not gonna bother with. I mean, as much as I love Tokyo Revengers, this current fall season is just way too packed with anime, and I'm gonna just wait for this one to be completely done, and then I'm gonna binge it like what we normally do.
Yeah, maybe halfway through the season when it starts getting dubbed, I might start watching a few dubbed episodes if I'm looking for something to start watching that's dubbed. But other than that, I'm not gonna go out of my way.
Yeah, I'm gonna want dub as well.
I still watch my English with subtitles, so either way it's the same.
Yeah, no,
you can't do that on Crunchyroll.
Oh yeah, you can.
English and subtitles?
I think so. Yeah, or maybe
I
that
don't
might be
think
just
so.
my Hulu. I don't know.
I'm
On
pretty sure
Hulu
it's
you
just
can,
Hulu.
yes.
Yeah.
They're all the streaming things are the same to me. I just flick through the different colors.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm not having any luck with my Roku TV getting subtitles with English. But well,
My Chromecast
maybe
doesn't either. So
no, there.
and I'm pretty sure on my phone through the app it doesn't allow for that either. So
Not in Crunchyroll? Interesting.
Yeah,
That might
right.
just be Hulu then. Okay.
yeah, I think it's everybody but Crunchyroll.
Yeah,
You can get on that.
and I've
Need my
definitely
subtitles.
yeah, I wanted to. I've definitely Googled this problem in the past too. And people who have I don't know, visual problems, or even audit
Yeah,
I guess
audio.
that's I was gonna say people with audio what's the word?
Visual
I
problems.
No,
was
it's
trying to say
people
audio
hard of
problems.
hearing. People hard of hearing.
There you go. Even them, and if I guess what they were just saying is if you want subtitles, then just go in a different language and then you can read it because that's not going to matter
If
at
you
that
can't
point.
hear it, then
Right.
it doesn't matter what language it is.
Exactly.
I guess that's true.
So
I could say that because I am half deaf. So if I can't hear it, I'll just need to go into Japanese and watch it that way.
right.
Like,
And I guess that would be one way, but it would still be nice if you can still kind of hear whatever. Where we're just nitpicking, but
yeah.
they'll get there eventually. Crunchyroll is getting slightly better and better, so it'll just take some time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, as the years go on, it's gotten better.
Yeah, many years. But I mean, especially since they absorbed Funimation, so their numbers are gonna keep skyrocketing. So they better step up their game because Funimation had subtitles for English.
Yeah, Funimation was a great platform, but let's not nitpick that because it's not getting us anywhere.
No, but yeah, okay. No more of that. Let's get back into Tokyo Revengers. And with that being said, can we just get into some Matt's manga mentions?
NANI?!
Yeah, let's get into this. So, unfortunately, I got a new phone and lost half of my notes for season 2.
Oh no.
I will say there weren't a whole lot of differences in the first half of the season when it came to essentially the entire fight. So those 6 episodes, it was almost verbatim the same. Fights were a little elongated, like some action shots were more. Maybe some conversations were extended, but as far as the context of everything, it was all the same. So that was kind of nice. It was kind of crazy. that it was so closely similar.
Okay.
But for anybody who wants to start reading the manga from the start of season 2, go on to chapter 74 is where it starts. And then it ends on chapter 125. So 51 chapters for this manga.
Quite a bit of chapter content for 13 episodes.
That's what I was thinking.
But like I said, the fight between Taiju and the Tokyo Manji gang was almost verbatim, so that's why you have to talk. You're looking at 6-7 episodes that were almost identical.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So it was like it was drawn out exactly like it was like displayed in the show.
Very, very close. Yes, cool. Nothing worth noting of changes, because a couple things might have been some translation things. And then, like I said, some of the fights, they like maybe threw in an extra couple punches or stuff like that. So not really a difference in my mind, at least.
Sure.
Then one thing that was different is, so when Emma and Hina are talking at that shrine, Emma makes mention that they must have ran into each other at some point because they had been essentially having the same tradition almost their whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
So
all right, so
what's up?
Oh, I was just going to elaborate, but you can say it.
Well, and so in the anime, they're just like, "Oh, that's crazy. We've never ran into each other." I think is what they said.
Yep.
But in the manga, Emma says, "Oh, we must have actually ran into each other." It's different, but
it's different. But yeah, I immediately thought of the anime reference too. So
yep. One thing that was really different is when Taiju was talking to Yuzuha as he was leaving. He says that maybe he'll accept that violence isn't everything.
Oh, okay, that's very different, because in the anime, Taiju's like, I don't expect me to change because I'm not going to change, or something like that. And that, when he left to his siblings' house, he was basically just going to continue being an asshole on his own.
Yep. Well, I wouldn't say he's changed, but he did say that maybe, he'll accept that violence isn't everything. He's still an asshole, but he
acknowledges it.
Yes. He acknowledged the fact that, maybe I'm wrong. We'll see, but maybe I'm wrong.
He's an interesting character.
He was definitely an interesting character. We'll go with that. There was one whole chapter that was just not covered in the anime, and I'm interested to see if that'll get covered in season 3 / part 2 of season 2, because it goes into a little bit of a backstory of Emma, Mikey, and then Shinchiro, and talking about basically how they got their names. Emma getting brought to the dojo. So the grandfather, Mikey's grandfather, is an owner of a dojo. So that's where they live.
Interesting. Is that like where they currently live, or where they used to live? Wait, well, currently, because aren't they being raised by a grandparent because both parents are out of the picture?
So Mikey's parents are dead.
Right.
Don't quote me on that one. And Emma's mom just basically ditched her.
Okay. Yep. Because I do remember them re-saying it again in season 2 that, yes, they had... Oh, I think they said it. But anyway, I'm pretty sure they said that they were raised by the grandparents, or living with the grandparents at least. So
grandfather. So it's just the one.
Just the one? Okay.
And so they live at a dojo. So the grandfather owns a dojo, which is why Mikey knows his martial arts. And he was essentially his grandfather called him a genius. And Mikey would basically just show off at the dojo. Like, he wouldn't take anything seriously, but he would just show off how strong he was.
That's kind of funny. If he's got these gifts for fighting, and as far as the anime goes, every time we see Mikey fight, it's always just that one swift kick, and that's what does all the. So we're not like seeing like any kind of like.
He does a flying kick in the manga. So
right.
Can we rename this series One Kick Man?
Yeah, that's how he takes care of everything.
But one other thing that's kind of important is you come to learn their names, like how they came up with their names. Because Mikey isn't his name, isn't his actual name.
Right.
And it's because Emma, her name is Emma, and so she has a foreign name. And so to help her kind of feel included, Mikey and their brother give themselves essentially English names, Mikey.
Ooh.
And then their brother named is Edward, or Ed.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think I ever heard him called Ed.
Yeah, I
No,
don't.
probably because well, he always only ever calls him his brother,
Right.
too. And yeah, I think it's because, he's no longer alive.
Interesting.
That's kind of cool.
So I'm wondering if they'll bring it because it just kind of helps with their relationship. And then there was one more scene that Emma's talking about how she always felt alone until she met Draken. And since the moment that she met him, she's never felt alone.
Okay.
And that's basically why she has such a strong love infatuation, whatever you want to call it, towards him, is because, he was the first person to help her feel not alone.
Okay. I don't know if that was also covered here in season 2 of manga, or was that something that you just remember?
No, that was covered in that one chapter.
Oh.
Oh wow, that's a lot of information.
Yep.
For one.
Well, it's easy when it's not in the anime at all.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay, interesting. I like it.
Yeah, but that's it. One thing is Taiju had scripture on his, tattooed on him. You couldn't read any of it, but he had more tattoos.
He had more?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
More
I thought he
than
just had
already had?
tribal symbols and stuff.
Yeah, he had tribal, and then he had a cross, but then on his ribs and stuff, he had what looked to be scripture.
Okay.
In the manga?
Yeah, in the manga.
I don't think I ever noticed that in the anime. Huh.
Because it wasn't there. It wasn't out there.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
then-
And
I
I
know
feel
there
like I
were-
should pull up a picture of him and quickly I'm going to do that. You keep talking.
Yeah,
You're going to look up shirtless Taiju?
Yeah.
You might get some interesting results.
yeah. That's I would highly avoid doing that one. But
I'm not gonna put those words in specifically, but I don't need my cookies to get into that.
and then I know there was some differences in the beginning of the season, but because I got a new phone, unfortunately, I lost some of those instances, and we're just gonna have to never know because I didn't have time to rewatch everything.
Okay, so I got some pictures pulled up. Like I said, I did not type in those specific words. I just typed in Taiju. And from what Google's showing me, his biggest tattoo is really a bunch. Obviously, most of his tattoos are a series of swirls, swirly kind of stuff. And he's got a big one on his neck. He's got another one on his chest, and sometimes it shows that there's one on his stomach, but I'm only literally sometimes he has one. So I don't know which is true and which isn't at this point. And then he's got a really big one on his back, like a cross and a circle kind of thing. And that appears to be the anime version tattoos.
Yeah, that's the anime version tattoos. And then the manga version tattoos are not that.
Oh, no? What about the swirlies?
Well, so that is all there, but there's more.
There's more. Okay.
You go into more detail in the manga.
Kind of. Like I said, it's basically just the scripture that he has on his front. Let's see if I can find a good picture. Because, he is shirtless basically the entire time in the fight.
Yeah.
Well, if I had a 12-pack, I'd probably be rocking no shirt everywhere too. So it's
Yep.
Can't blame him on that
Flexing.
one. As a 19-year-old, is he 19?
He's 2 years. I think he's 16. He's 2
No,
years
there's
older
no-
than our crew.
No, because he was
15, right?
he was a third-year high school student at the time of Black Dragons being formed as the 11th.
10th
They
generation.
were third-year middle schoolers then. Then the flashback, they go back to when Inupi's flashback,
Yeah, the flashback said.
third-year middle school.
I thought you said third-year high school.
Mm-mm. They were 14 when they found Taiju, and it's been a couple years since then. So he's at least 16 or 17.
So Taiju had a 20-pack when he was 14. That makes sense.
Yeah, dude was just ripped.
All I know for sure is that he's 2 years older than Takemichi and his friends.
Okay. I must have gotten confused between. It happens. So it's.
Well, does third-year middle school mean the same thing that third-year middle school means in America? Or do they have
no
different...
idea?
Because
so.
that was one thing I was questioning, because I'm like, they're saying third year middle school, and in America, that would be 8th grade, so you'd be around 13 to 14 years old. But I'm like, does it mean something different? Because I know it means something different in the UK. They have a whole different school system.
Yep.
So does Japan? Jesus.
No idea.
You got some scripture. Is it? Can you actually read it?
Oh,
No,
that is
you
scripture.
can't read it.
Okay. It's just like written and looking like scripture.
Yeah,
Just some scribbles.
It's there. That's all I can tell you.
For our listeners, Matt just showed us the scripture picture on Taiju so that we can see that it was, in fact, tattooed on this teenage boy.
Yeah, it definitely is not there in the anime. For sure.
Maybe
Yes.
the detail would have been too minute, so I understand why they didn't have it.
Or they were just trying to stay away from like religious stuff. Granted, they had a cross, but whatever. I don't know. It is what it is. Doesn't really matter. But so Taiju is essentially, we'll call him 16, 17. And no, because he's older than Draken, who's 16.
I would put him
He's
1 year
17 then.
1 year older than Draken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think Mikey is 1 year younger than
Then everybody.
everybody, and then Draken is 1 year older than everybody.
Yes.
So that would make does that mean there's a 4 year difference between Mikey and Taiju then?
Probably.
Yeah, around there.
Oh, wait,
He's
sorry,
probably
that
around
was
13.
3 year difference.
It could be 4.
Numbers
It
are
could
getting
be
crazy.
4. You don't really know how old Mikey is. You just know he's a year younger than everyone else.
And we're not 100% sure how old Taiju is because he probably has been held back like 5 times. So
Yeah, I mean, these are delinquents. Like they say it all through the show.
Dude's definitely looking like he's pushing 30.
yeah, he could be 30. We don't know.
He's like the guy from Benchwarmers. I am 12. Let me into this game.
Yeah. All right. So besides their names getting all figured out, was there any more differences in Matt's manga mentions? Because we're still in the segment.
There was some stuff in the beginning, but I don't remember off the top of my head. That was really it. So
Okay. Alrighty. Well then, that's enough to be different, and I definitely want to see that name segment in the next series or in the next season or whatever they want to call the next part.
yes, one thing I do want to talk about. So this festival that they went to, this is supposed to happen in like November, but it was a New Year's festival. Like that doesn't make any sense.
So you mean traditionally this
I don't
festival
know.
happens in
Yes.
November?
Yes,
Okay.
and then
Is their calendar different?
no.
I mean, yeah, they had we saw them doing a New Year thing,
Yeah,
which makes
Yeah.
sense because it was after the Christmas thing. But I don't
Is that
know,
just
Jeff.
Americanization, I guess, for the show?
no, because I don't know, because they talk. It could have just been a translation thing where they were talking about happening in November in the manga, but they're making reference in it being New Year's essentially because everybody
Oh.
talked about it being after Christmas. So I don't know. That was just something I saw, and I'm like, wait a second, isn't this supposed to happen in November? But it happened after Christmas.
Yeah, that could have been a translation thing.
I do find it funny that we have another shrine / festival scene in the season, but no fighting.
You have to. You have to.
Apparently.
All right, so there's a lot of characters that we get to see throughout this entire series. Did you guys end up picking one out of this season that you thought was your most interested or favorite out of anything?
Sure, I'll go. I think my favorite character for sure was Mitsuya. I thought he just kind of was just like your epic, just savior of the day. Like, dude was a badass. Like, he was going blow to blow with Taiju, and I was just like, this guy like deserves his rank, like being a captain, because he takes care of his crew. He shows up at the right time. Just white-haired protagonist, just on point. I loved him. He was great. I was actually really disappointed when he wakes up and he's dead, and I was like, no.
Oh yeah, I felt so bad.
Yeah, that would have been a perfect ending to the season. By the way, they ruined. They ruined.
Oh,
that.
definitely.
A total cliffhanger. Oh my god.
Yeah, that would have been good. No, I agree. Mitsuya is amazing. He definitely got a lot of character development in this season, and it makes you appreciate him. And he's a hardworking kid, and he's definitely earned his respect in this show.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And you can't really blame him for like basically everything that he's done, where he is essentially raising his 2 younger sisters and kind of being done and over with and running away for like that night. I really liked him as a character because I'm going to pick somebody different. I'm going to go with Chifuyu.
Oh, Chifuyu. Yeah, he's good too.
he was definitely probably one of my favorite characters in this one. I think one of the best parts was when Takamichi basically like goes blank and just explains everything, and Chifu is like, that kind of makes sense. Things are weird. I've noticed some things and I can't explain them, so fuck it. You coming for the future makes sense.
Might as well. Being on this topic real quick, I was very pleased and accepting of the way that they just did not anime logic. Like, this made sense, like how to tell somebody how that he's, I don't know, that he's from the future, and that he didn't have to like say some bullshit story or just have some kind of like 5-minute time skip. I mean, they kind of did, but in a good way. But like, I really, okay, I guess what I'm saying is I appreciate their explanation for how Chifuyu came into the whole circle of the future deal, and it just made sense.
Yes. Yeah, I liked it. And then Chifuyu also had funny moments where, he was trying to explain, give a plan, and then Takamichi's like, oh yeah, he's a dumbass too.
Yeah, they're both dumbasses.
I was literally gonna mention that as like one of my favorite scenes. He's like, why have I taken advice from Chifuyu? I totally forgot he's a total dumbass too.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there like thumbs up, like, yeah.
Yeah, those are good scenes.
Oh my god, I was literally dying laughing.
So I'm glad I ruined your or spoiled your favorite scene.
Oh, I loved it.
So all in all, I thought he was a great character, and he was somebody Takamichi needed. Now he has a new best friend, I guess.
1,000,000%, yeah. And to round that up, just to make it even better, now he's got somebody in his inner circle, and what makes it even better is at that 13th episode where Takamichi comes back to the past and he's able to automatically recognize that Takamichi isn't the autopilot Takamichi, it's the future one, because he can tell that there's a difference in personality. So that's going to be super interesting to see moving forward.
Yeah,
that he can just tell.
Not the BS change where it's like, oh yeah, my memories are different now. It's like, well, how do you remember different memories? Like, what's going on here?
Yep.
So
I'm glad they did that.
That one.
Lance, who's your favorite?
You guys both chose amazing characters, but that's all right because there's still another one that I liked, and that's Yuzuha, the sister of the Shiba family.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, not right away, but like when the gang fight happened outside the Shiba house and Black Dragons was about to kill Takamichi, and then like she just does this jump roundhouse kick into one of the Black Dragon members.
Yep.
Right away, I was like, "Ooh, she's a badass. I like her."
Oh,
so
yeah, for sure.
Like, she definitely got my attention pretty early on, and she just has this overwhelming protection kind of deal that she has for Hakai, and I like that. And the big twist kind of in like the 3/4 of the way through the anime where you find out that she's the one that's taking all the beatings and not Hakai taking all the beatings.
He was still getting his ass kicked every day, but she was just getting two of them.
Right, yeah, she was taking the majority of them at least, and I don't know, like it just made you feel so much more empathy for her. So I guess emotionally, I was gravitated to her in that way. I mean, I'm also just trying to throw her some favors because you guys definitely chose my favorite guys for. So I'm just trying to talk her up. And Yuzuha was still an amazing character. And one other thing I want to bring up is that when they kept going to the past, like they were showing her in her like more child years, she looked oddly close to Hina, and it makes me wonder if there's going to be like some kind of like weird cousin relation or something like that. Like, are they going to turn out to be related in some way?
Well, they both like Takamichi. She said that in the was it the second to last episode where she's like, "There's nothing wrong with a one-sided crush."
Right? Yeah, I think that was episode 11 or 12.
I think the artist just has a style in which he likes to draw his characters, and
that's probably more along the line those. Yeah.
She is pretty cool in the fact that, like, she's not your typical, when they bring in female characters, they're usually like, like Sakura types, where they're just like either a healer or they're useless. And she's like, nah, like I can kick ass too. And I can drop people left and right. And don't mess with my little brother because I'm a badass too. Like, she's a hardcore, strong female character. And I love that.
She's super hardcore. And she can take a punch from Taiju and just...
She got a stab in on him. Like, she's good.
Yep.
Did you guys have any scenes that are coming to your mind that you want to spend some time on?
Well, I already ruined Alex's favorite scene, so...
I mean, I have another one involving Shifu as well.
Okay.
Because I was actually going to say he was my favorite character, but then I was like, you know what? Matt's probably going to say that's his favorite character, so I'm going to go with Mitsuya. And but one part of the season, like when he jumps back to the future, and he's like, "But we did everything right. Like we kept Taiju from dying. We kept Hawkeye from being the killer. We got Kisaki kicked out of the gang. I did everything right." And just like completely fails to mention. He's like, "Was there anything else significant that you did?" He's like, "No, nothing else." Oh well, we took a picture. And I'm like, you're missing something, Takemichi. You totally revealed that you came back from the future to Shifui. And then, like, he's going to live his whole life now knowing, like, the future. And you're expecting that not to change anything? And that made the biggest change of all. Like, he comes back and everybody's dead.
Ooh.
Like,
Was that
key
obvious?
thing.
No,
I
didn't
think
take
it's
it as that.
So I took it as like a total butterfly effect thing. Like he totally like Naoto's like, dude, what did you do? Like everything here is even worse now. He's like, I didn't do anything. I did everything. He just completely fails to mention that he revealed to somebody else in the past that he's a time jumper.
Okay,
Like, that's gotta be a huge break of time physics. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we completely understand that the time jumping phenomena is definitely understood, and you can't just go telling people stuff. But they didn't say anything in the anime about I mean, you're right. The fact that Chifuyu knows that this all happens, and now
And he reveals that to Mikey. Remember when he's about to die, and Shifuyu's like, "Hey, Mike, Takemichi's gonna come looking for you," and it's gonna be like he's just like back from the old days. Like he revealed it to him.
In a way, like he hinted at it, like just look him in the eyes and you'll, I don't know, like you'll understand it, something along those lines. But yeah,
his eyes don't lie.
Yeah, he gave him a hint, and Chifuyu knew that if he died in that moment, it was going to be okay because Takemichi was just going to go back in time and fix everything anyway. So like I get that part, but it wasn't point blank explained that Takemichi is the time traveler and Chifuyu just tells other people or something like that.
He's a spoiler for sure. I'm telling you.
So my theory is this is going to keep happening until Takemichi stays in the past. Basically what he said so I think no matter what happens, because either Takemichi's going to leave or Takemichi's going to turn evil if he goes to the future. So due to that, basically the older brother that Mikey needs through Takemichi isn't going to be that person because he's, an impressionable teenager. Mm-hmm. So because of that, every time Takemichi goes to the future, it's going to fail no matter what he does. I don't think the telling of Chifuyu had anything to do with it because I think Chifuyu didn't tell anybody until he was about to die. Right. So I think while your point makes sense, I think we're too much sciencing that instead of just anime logicking where it's like, no, that doesn't matter. He could tell 10 people and it wouldn't change anything because then somebody would probably say something and try and do stuff. But in this scenario where telling Chifuyu doesn't change anything.
Right.
I still stick by my theory. I think Kisaki is a time traveler as well. Just there's some things that he says that I for sure think that he's a time traveler.
Okay.
You know what I was thinking after re-listening to this season? I know we all talked about this when we covered season 1 that we all think that Kisaki might be a time traveler. I was thinking about this a little bit more, and his buddy Hanma is way too cool, calm, and collected about everything all the time. So I'm thinking maybe he's the one that may be a time traveler, and he's just pushing Kisaki, and he's the one that knows the future. So he's the puppet master, and Kisaki's the one that has the balls to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna do whatever needs to be done if I can change the future. Like he's gonna be the one that's taking all. So I don't know. It was just some random thought. Like I was saying, Hanma is he's too smooth about everything, and he's important, but he's not important right now. So they're making us feel that like he's not that relevant, but like
illusion kind of magician thing where it's focus on this when in all actuality right next to it is what's really going on.
Exactly.
I have a question.
Yep.
You know when he comes back and he finds out that everybody's dead, like everyone in the picture, including Kazutora and Kisaki, were also dead as well. Does it mention that Hanma was dead? I don't remember them mentioning Hanma.
Wait,
no, Hanma.
Well, I think he might be
Hanma
onto something.
I'm forgetting it. If Kisaki died, I don't remember.
Yeah, he had killed. He's like Kisaki's dead too, and so is Kazutora. And I was like, wait a minute, they don't mention Hanma. And he's like always like trying to take credit for things like, the Hanmas did great today. And Kishi's like, when the hell did we name ourselves the Hanmas?
Yep.
But
Yeah.
if Takamichi goes into the past, future dead Hanma wouldn't matter because that'd be a different timeline.
I don't know. Time travel's a weird thing, isn't it?
So it is.
Yeah, I mean, maybe to the average watcher, they wouldn't have to bother with saying that Hanma died because if he's not supposed to be important, why even bring him up in the first place? But now that we're nitpicking ideas and theorizing and whatever, maybe that is actually
Science.
important. Yeah. Also, listeners, this is coming from people who haven't like read ahead or anything, so we don't know for sure.
Yeah, we know nothing. We've watched nothing. We know only time travel through anime, so speculations on everything everywhere.
So Matt, what was your favorite scene?
Oh man, my favorite scene that's a really good one. I want to say it's the picture, them taking the picture together.
Okay.
Classic.
That was probably the most memorable scene to me. When we talk about it, like that's what I think of. I'm like, I really love that. Just that whole scene. Takamichi trying to be nostalgic, looking through future glasses while living in the past. So he's trying to do these things to kind of help remember what's going on, those moments, because as you're older, it's easier to think about the things you didn't do than the things you did do when you're past self. So just trying to live in those moments, it was nice to see.
Right. As for myself, oddly enough, the whole fight scene with Taiju in the church was not my favorite. As
you mean the 6 episodes?
Yeah.
Half the season.
Half the season. We can talk about that in a minute, but I want to talk about my probable favorite scene is going to be when future Takamichi finds Mikey back in, the Philippines, and he goes to that junkyard room, and Mikey confronts Takamichi, admits that he's the one that killed everybody, and then he's on top of Takamichi, and he's threatening with killing him if he doesn't kill him. And then you find out eventually that the gun was on safety the entire time, and he was just looking for the push. And like I kind of like that scene a lot. Like it made you feel so many different kinds of emotions. You're going up and down, like holy crap, Mikey's a bad guy, but at the same time, like you find out that he's just looking for someone else to finish himself for him. I don't know. I was just going through a lot at that episode, so I was like, what the hell is going on? So I like that scene a lot.
Yeah, it was an emotional episode. It really was.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's like was calling it like this is destiny. Like, this is where the twin engines were found. This is where this is where I'm going to find Mikey. I thought it was really cool foreshadowing that he ended up remembering. I thought that was really cool. I mean, that's when he looks at him too. He's got the gun pointed at his face. He's like, "What are you?" Like he's like, "There is something different." And that's when Mikey realizes, like, "Hey, like Takamichi's more than what we all think he is."
Yeah, right.
And then that shot from Naoto. Oh man.
Oh, headshot.
Headshot from like 100 feet away. Talk about a golden eye. Just James Bond moment right there.
Right. Yeah, Naoto's he's a strong character.
Yes, he is.
Took down Mikey, the invincible Mikey.
Well, guns will do that.
Guns usually win in fistfights.
Yes, they do. Speaking of the invincible Mikey, I love that kick though.
Flying roundhouse, instant flying roundhouse.
Yeah, just taking out Taiju in one dome shot, and apparently Mikey can now move faster than the eye can see. Because
yeah, right. I've seen this multiple times now, and I've even gone. I had to go back and skip, like rewind 10 seconds or something. I was like, was I distracted for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think everybody feels the same. Like you just hear a sound, and all of a sudden he's on the ground. Like what the fuck just happened? And then I'm glad, obviously, they go into a little bit of a slow motion. He just
because Takamichi's like for a split second, I think I saw him jump, kick, and then he was on the ground.
yeah, it's trying to pull some Dragon Ball Z shit or something.
Instant transmission. I loved it.
Yeah.
Well, they went super DBZ with a 6-episode fight.
Yeah. Okay, this fight was just a little too long. I don't know. How do you guys feel about the whole fight? A little? Okay, your sarcasm is definitely on my side. And then I think everybody in the anime community feels this way. Like I think this fight was just drawn out a little too long.
The problem is that it wasn't just straight fighting. It was like fight, talk,
Uh-huh.
backstory, fight, talk, back. Like it just kept repeating that cycle. So the information was important because if we wouldn't know about like the lie and then the eventual truth and all this other information, it wouldn't be as impactful.
Yep.
But I do agree. It was long. It was a lot. Like I said, I think it was like 30 some chapters was this fight.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
So, I guess I didn't say that, but I think it was like 25 to 30 chapters was this series of scenes. So it was a lot.
Yeah, that's still quite a bit. Another part that I found really funny was when I don't remember exactly when it happened, but they're fighting, and all of a sudden someone shows up, and they split off into different groups, and they're just sitting there talking, like strategizing how to fight. And then, like, I don't remember if it was Coco, the guy with black hair, or his buddy, but they made a comment like, "How long are we supposed to sit here and just let them talk to each other?" Like, they vocalized what I was thinking. Like, are we just anime logicking conversation in the middle of a fight? But like, no, they're like,
regroup, guys, regroup.
yeah. So I thought that scene was kind of funny.
Yeah. I guess I didn't really pay attention to it until Coco said something because I was just like, oh, I guess. I mean, I just kind of accepted it at face value. I was like, oh, I guess there's just a break in the fight right now. All right, I could use this.
I also wrote down in one of my notes that Taiju put all of his stats into strength and none into HP or defense because he's
shot.
He's super freaking strong, but I know he was going toe to toe with Mitsuya for a little bit, but yeah, it was just that one single kick from Mikey put him to the ground instantly. And like he has, I know it's Mikey's kick and he's the invincible, but he didn't
that one
put
punch
up
from
any of the fight.
Takemichi too.
Oh yeah, that too. That's why I wrote it down. Takemichi's sitting there taking all the blows, and then one single punch from Sad Boy Takemichi, and all of a sudden he's on the ground.
Yeah, I was like, this is absurd.
It's only 70% too. Like he wasn't even going full out.
Yeah, I'm at 30%. I'm at 50% now.
Yeah.
We should have gone full Goku and saw Taiju at 100%.
Takemichi's pulling out sensu beans out of his ass because he's just taking the beating of his life. But bringing up Taiju's power-ups, I have to make the parallel with Toguro from Yu Yu Hakusho because I know it's way too funny that this is me at this power level, and I was just waiting for
my full power.
Yeah, we didn't even get to see Taiju at 100%.
Nope,
120% either. That's
nope.
That's the next level.
Yeah.
Well, Mikey knocked him out before he could go full power. So
it's true. Cheap shot.
I guess I do. I am curious. All in all, what do you guys think of this season?
I'll let you start, Alec.
I liked it. I didn't love it. It felt like a filler to the next part kind of thing. Like it kind of included. I'm very surprised there wasn't a beach scene, to be honest. Like they included everything except for a beach scene. It was just very like typical anime stuff. And then like they kept like a good fight, for the middle of the season. But I just felt like it was just more backstory to something big happening in the next season. It definitely kept me interested enough to want to, stay really excited for season 3. But I feel like I enjoyed season 1 a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Season 1 was definitely way better than season 2, but I did think that season 2 was still good, enjoyable, and fun to watch. It was everything was necessary. I agree with that. The backstory was there. They touched on a lot of backstory, but of course, like we always have to say, if they didn't give us this backstory now, it's something that future us would bitch about in the future. Like I wish they would have given us more information. So, like, of course, it's necessary. And I agree that this is going to be build up for something that's going to be better in the future. And I think that's kind of a trend that I'm starting to see now in anime. Season 1 is amazing. Season 2 takes a big step backwards and does a little bit of more world building. And then the next season is the one that comes back with another big punch and really brings you back into the story. So I'm hoping that this is going to be that case.
Ebbs and flows, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you guys. This season was good as a whole, but not as good as season 1. Lance, you basically were kind of taking what I was thinking. We also have to remember that sometimes season 1s are so good that we can't, like, it's hard to match our expectations of what we expect season 2 to be.
Yep, exactly. We didn't know. It's kind of one of those things like you don't know what you want until you get it, and then when we finally get it, and then we start making all these stupid expectations, and it's just never going to be as good as when we were first shocked into loving this new thing.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you
Yeah.
think about it with these kind of new animes. I mean, they have to with season one. They have to not only wow you, but they have to get you obsessed and pulled you in within 12 episodes. And that takes a lot of creativity. I mean, I can't even imagine what these people are going through to create these just absolute masterpieces that keep us season after season after season. I mean, we're all excited for season three. And I think that shows that this show is a high quality, and I'm willing to give them the the time that they need to develop a truly great show, because I think this is going to be a really good continuation.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
Matt, do you know if the manga is completed or not?
Yeah, the manga concluded between when season 1 concluded and season 2 came out.
Okay.
Give me a moment and I can look into seeing how many chapters there are as a whole.
So that would mean like season 3 or season 4 would be the finale,
Potentially.
as far as canonizing goes.
So without
a
spoiling
movie
anything,
I could totally see this being made into a movie.
278.
Oh, like a real life action. Like
No, not like a live action, like what My Hero Academia does, where they make it like
some
canon
random movies.
but not canon. Yeah.
Yeah, they could definitely come out with some movies. Just another random ass gang fight or something.
Mm-hmm. Like a rival gang from China comes, because he does escape
China?
there. Well, that's where Takamichi goes. So maybe they could include some China gangs coming to Japan.
278.
Did he go to China? 270 is total?
There's 270 chapters.
278 chapters in
And you just finished at like 130?
125. So we're about halfway there.
So
Wow.
yeah, we got another 2 seasons probably.
Probably.
If they do what Attack on Titan is doing, they could probably push this out into season 4, part 8. So you never know.
Yeah, then we still won't be finished.
Yeah, right.
And then they're going to make a different ending. So,
And not fill you in on the time loop.
Yeah.
I love
Okay.
anime sometimes.
in all actuality, Naruto was the bad guy. What?
Yeah, no, I can totally see it. Naruto's
Well,
just
that'd be the
intentionally
biggest
wrecking things in the future.
Yes. Yeah. Naruto's actually killing everybody. He brainwashed
Oh my
Mikey.
god, what a plot twist!
Yeah, I mean,
I like that. What do you guys think is going to happen in season 3 with this new gang and Kiseki being a part of it?
The ultimate fight. Isn't that what they label it as?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
man.
and so begins
no
the
idea.
ultimate fight of Tokyo Manji.
So
Because
we're halfway
at-
through and it's the ultimate fight. So is this going to
Yeah,
last
exactly.
like 200 chapters?
I think this is going to be a war. Yeah. And that's what Takamichi said. He was foreshadowing. He's like, I wish there was a gang war. So that way I could perform in that and everyone would respect me. And then in comes this giant 300-member gang. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be a gang war.
A real gang war, I guess.
Not like what they had before when Baji died. I guess that didn't count.
That was just a really big fight.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect out of this. Like we now have Takamichi going back to the past without a purpose. Like he doesn't have anything in plan. Like we always get these hints that he has to protect somebody or he has to prevent somebody from doing something. And now he's just in the past doing whatever. And then a gang just so happens to come on his turf. I mean, obviously it's Kiseki. The only kind of hint we have is that Kiseki's behind everything, so we have to stop him and whatever. But other than that, we don't have an actual goal of like how to do this. So I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to kind of see what happens. I did make the joke that this is going to be 200 chapters, but this might be, a 24 episode season and it covers everything, or we get like 12 episodes to conclude season 2/3, whatever you want to call it, and then we only get like 12 episodes to kind of end it. I don't know how the series ends, so this might take a while, or this takes like 12 episodes, 16 episodes ish, and then they conclude the season or the series.
Yeah, they can go in a couple directions.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because I guess if you want to be fair, the way they concluded season 1 and the way they started season 2, like that's not a clean cut. Like it just kind of sounds like maybe there is no clean way to separate actual seasons.
No, there's not.
If you get my drift.
There's no cliffhangers in the mangas. Like season 1 ending and season 2 beginning are within the end of the chapter, the beginning of the chapter, like they flow into each other. So there's just no clean breaks anywhere along that lines.
All right. I think, is there anything else that you want to talk about?
I think we covered about everything in this entire season. So I'm really excited for season 3 and can't wait for the whole thing to come out so I can binge it.
Yeah, I feel the same. I know as of right now of our recording, we have 3 episodes of the next season out. But yeah, I'm gonna wait until I can just binge it all. So right there with you. All right, so I think that's just gonna conclude today's episode of the Anime Lounge podcast. Thank you everybody for listening this far. Please give us a rating on whatever platform you're listening to us on because it helps us grow. And also make sure to follow the AnimizeShow on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on everything anime related. They're doing a great job with just throwing out so much information every day. They have something new. Also, if you're not already on YouTube listening, please go to YouTube and check out some of our short flight episodes. We cover hot new anime that's out every season, and like we keep saying, this fall season is amazing. We're covering, I think, like 7 different anime, so we're bound to be covering something that you like. So please go search Anime Lounge Short Flights on YouTube. And with that being said, we'll catch you guys next time.
Keep watching. That'll be back, guys.